The New York Times is on an apology tour, publishing eight mea culpas by its opinion writers. 8 of them have been writing apologies. One columnist says he's sorry he criticized former President Trump supporters from the very beginning. You might remember back in 2015, Bret Stephens first wrote in the Wall Street Journal, "If by now you don't find Donald Trump appalling, you're appalling." That's so middle school. Now, writing for the Times, he admits maybe those comments might have been a bit harsh. And a piece titled, "I was wrong about Trump voters," he writes, "The broad swipe at his voters caricatured them and blinkered me." Not sure what that means. Telling voters they are moral ignoramuses is a bad way of getting them to change their minds. Humph. In a way, it's hard to blame him for words he may well have learned from somewhere. All right.
Let me tell you about this ultra MAGA agenda. It's extreme, as most MAGA things are. This MAGA crowd is really the most extreme political organization that's existed in American history. The last thing we need is Neanderthal thinking.
You could put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables. They're racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic, you name it.
The credulous boomer Rube demo that backs Donald Trump. That wants to think that Donald Trump's a smart one, and y'all elitists are dumb.
You elitists with your geography and your maps and your spelling, even though my
math and your reading.
Yeah, you're reading.
Yeah, you elitists with your inflation and your socialism ruining the country. Great job. When will they learn that being mean to the MAGA crowd just doesn't pay, Lawrence?
It wasn't just mean, it was evil. I mean, they could be real journalists and cross country. They can go cross country and talk to voters and diners and talk and see. You don't have to agree with them, but you can understand where they're coming from. And if they had any intellectual honesty, they would realize that a lot of the grievances that these people in middle America have are a lot that many have in urban cities as well. Mm-hmm. There's a lot we were better off.
Yeah, and that's the question that will be posed. But it's really interesting because they were trying to shame people into changing their beliefs by insulting them, which just reinforced why they were looking for something else in the first place. And it's kind of shocking they couldn't separate the Trump voters and what they wanted, what they were missing in their lives, versus Trump the person, someone they disagreed with and had issues with personally. Why now?
Well, first of all, I want to go back to Hillary Clinton for just a second. And I normally don't blame one person for an entire movement, nor do I give them total credit either. But she was a specific case of bringing hate to a new level in this country. Her husband was the one in dynamically similar straits that we are.
I'm not even going to speak my piece.
Said, "I feel your pain," to every single American.
But the hate for that man was real.
Do something that really we
the hate for successful, hard-working businessmen was real.
Maybe for just that moment, and Lord knows he had his issues, right?
Because it wasn't just Trump being hated on.
It was damaging for her to express her hate for half the country after having been in a White House for 8 years when it wasn't specifically like that. When people were really down and you didn't kick them when they were down. You tried to help them with a better economy, with saying that you understood them. So now you fast forward and we get the Clinton crowd, the Hillary Clinton version of that crowd, as you say. And we're only growing more clear sometimes to profligate hate than it is to shed your grace and love, apparently.
Yes, and so incredibly condescending.
Well, listen, there was elitists on both sides in the 2016 election. There were a lot of Republicans who looked down their nose at Trump supporters just the same way those on the left, the Democrats and the leftists did. I was there as an early Trump supporter, and I remember a lot of never Trumpers, those with an R behind their name, those were conservative, that said, if you support Donald Trump, you're not with us either. You're not a conservative. You're just one of those Trumpers. You're just a Trump supporter. And then, of course, Donald Trump won the election, and a lot of those folks came around, and then they kind of forgot that they were the never Trumpers to start with. And then we had a wonderful moment where we all came together in a wonderful, successful country, and it was awesome. And we built a huge movement that I believe is now bigger than Donald Trump the person. It's about the movement. It's the America First movement. Those people are still very much around, and we're ready to come back in 2024 because we keep getting run over. And now we're looking and saying, look at what our guys guy, you made fun of us. Our guy did wonderful things for this
There you
country.
go.
Look what your guy's doing to our country. And what really bothers me as someone that comes from a small state in South Dakota, we are often overlooked. We are those Trump supporters. We are those blue-collar ranchers, farmers out there who don't get a lot of attention except for when there's a snowstorm or there's fireworks at 4th of July at Mount Rushmore. We don't get a lot of attention. So when people on the coast, when elitists in big cities look down their nose at us and call us rednecks and just Trump supporters, and Hillary Clinton calls us deplorables and they call us racist without ever taking the time to talk to us, that really fired a lot of people up. And we feel that way now, and I'm so glad that Fox takes the time to go and talk to these people in the Midwest and the heartland. We are not just the flyover states. We matter and we vote. Might be from small states, but when you put us all together, we make a difference. And guess what? Y'all are fleeing to our states. So we're
All right, now, girl, say that.
True. I mean, there has been a big migration, but one of the things Stevens talked about, he gave credit to Peggy Noonan for talking about the protected class, the elites, people with jobs and security and in some cases tenure, and the unprotected. And those were the people who wanted something different. They wanted change, and they wanted something who not only promised but could deliver for them. How are the unprotected feeling now?
I think all this does is polarize the two sides more, and it makes it worse. It's like schoolyard bully kind of stuff that doesn't really get us anywhere. The one thing that I'll say is I think that the New York Times, I'm going to give them some kudos for stepping up, doing a mea culpa, something I wish this administration could learn from, and say, listen, we got a few things wrong, but we're working to change it. We're working to do a little bit better. I was surprised the Times
They
did
didn't
this,
intentionally
but I
get a
think
few
giving them
things
some
wrong.
points
They
for
got
that,
them
because
wrong
it
on
does
purpose.
bring people together when you say, I did something.
Our
it was
economy
wrong. We're gonna
is
try to
not
fix
ready
it,
for a
instead of just
green
digging your heels
energy
in
shift.
further.
Point blank
How
simple.
will be the new National Review? We have no idea.
Well, how did they settle for 8 mea culpas? Were they tired of writing? It's like,
There's
I can't
only
get
so
to
much
150.
space in the gray old lady.